Whether you're a diehard sports fan, a hopeless romantic, or a comedy aficionado, the Xfinity 10G network was made for streaming it all. Worry less about buffering when streaming your favorite shows, movies, or live sports, and enjoy a better way to watch. Xfinity gives you a reliable connection for streaming, plus all the entertainment you love all in one place. Fear not, because now you can finally sit back, relax, and stream your favorite entertainment and sports like never before with the Xfinity 10G network.
Why wait to see if you'll get something you like this Valentine's Day when you can go to BlueNile.com and find something you'll love? Whether you're looking to treat yourself to a little winter sparkle or show a galentine how much you appreciate them, Blue Nile offers a wide selection of high-quality designs, expert guidance, and free 30-day returns for the ultimate peace of mind. You can even design your own jewelry. Right now, save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what we thought was a cursed edition of the Power Rankings Missing the Point show. DK is not here today because this is now attempt 4 at a Power Rankings show this week. But as we all know, we all have lives and things get a little crazy sometimes. But here we are. We got it. We're on a different platform. We're doing things all different this week. But it doesn't matter because we're here to do the Power Rankings. We got Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan in the building, everyone. He's filling the spot for DK this week. Ray, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Once again, I feel I've already done more PR shows this year than I did last year, so I'll take it.
Well, glad to have you, man. It's a good week to be on it too. This is a crazy week of football.
It is. Listen, it's the best weekly soap opera that there is. So, Not Young and the Restless, Top Boy and the Beautiful, has the world terms for those that grew up in the 90s and 80s, whatever. But yeah, right now, and always will be, it's the NFL.
Agreed, 100%. So I haven't talked to you about, the football much this year because you guys have been doing the patch shows, which, have been very, very depressing. But what's been your biggest takeaway so far with the beginning of the season? Well, what's the one thing that stands out where you're like, wow, I didn't expect that, or like that was disappointing, or like this guy's going off? Like, what's the one thing that stood out to you so far?
So probably the play of the Detroit Lions, right? They just came off.
That's a good one.
Monday night against Vegas. Jared Goff has played really well. Jared Goff is home to go and get Ben Johnson a job, in the offseason. So that's what happens when guys start to perform well, whether it be on the offensive or defensive end. Their respective coordinators usually get at least a call and eventually an offer. So Ben Johnson for sure, is probably going to be a head coach in this league going into next year. So yeah, but the play of the Detroit Lions being 6-2, if I'm not mistaken, coming into this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been great. Goff has been great. And they finally got Jahmyr Gibbs going. I know that's been much there, but he did show a lot on Monday night. So, they're definitely a team that stands out for sure. Of course, there's others, but they're definitely at the top of the list of teams that have been really special in the first half of the year.
Yeah, completely agree. I love the Lions so far. They're definitely surprisingly part of that top tier of the NFL so far, which is crazy. I just wanted to ask because, like you said, it's been a different kind of season for you so far this year, Ray. I mean, with the Patriots being the way they are, have you noticed that, like, me and DK talk about it all the time? Are you learning to appreciate football in a different way now that the Patriots aren't just this wagon every year? I know it's been a few years coming, though. So, I mean, it's not something that's like sudden.
Yeah, I think, 2021 was different because they actually did make the playoffs and they had a 7-game winning streak during that year. So, there was a glimpse of hope there, even though, no one thought they would win a Super Bowl. Okay, well, maybe they can still at least make the playoffs with this kid. And obviously things have taken a step back since that season. I don't know if appreciate is the right word. A lot of us have been, including me, have been frustrated. For those who watched myself and Mike torment ourselves week in and week out about what has happened outside of the Bills game and Jets game this year. It's been tough to see, but just with any team that's rebuilding, you want to see guys that can be a part of the next core. So, whether that's Duggar, whether that's Stevenson, whether that's, Cole Strange, Michael Menu, Christian Barmore, Martin Mapu, Christian Balls, obviously. So, now we're in a point where we want to see young guys progress and hopefully, get that second deal and hopefully bring us a veteran talent that can mesh well with what they already have. So, but yeah, it's been tough to watch because there hasn't been any progression on the offensive side. And injuries happen. That's part of the game. At best, they're probably 4-4 if they're all healthy. With how they play some games, if they were healthy, they might have been 4-4. But yeah, this team is, I hope they continue to lose. And I've been saying that. I've been consistent with that since Dallas.
It's in your best interest. It's in your best interest for sure, bro.
Right, but my thing is, I mean, we say best interest, but I'm like, now the news is circulating about is Bill going to be, really going after the season? And my thing is, and he has to be gone in order for them to do something differently with that top pick, right? He's only had 2 top picks in his tenure here. In 2001, he drafted Richard Seymour, 6th overall, out of UGA, and then 7 years later, drafted Gerard Mayo out of Tennessee at number 10. So once again, he hit on both of those, right? So maybe he's like Danny Ainge, right? The later it goes on, it's kind of shaky. But if you get him somebody in the top 10, he could find somebody. But at this point now, I and many others in the Patriot fan base don't trust him to build a roster from top to bottom the way he once was able to.
Yep.
And goes back to show it was about number 12. And that's okay to say. Like, I think people are thinking it's derogatory or slander, but it's like, no, like, players have to play, coaches have to coach. And he luckily had the greatest quarterback at the least of this generation. Once again, I don't want to argue about who people think is better. Men lie, women lie numbers, though. That guy was a problem from day one. Just about.
Facts.
So give credit. Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, I know that statement's very true, but that's a whole different podcast about personal Bob Kelly issues. We're keep going.
Right. So it's crazy.
A little real life humor for all you, if you know people out there, There's no humor.
What about you, though, man? Like, what about you? I talked about. So, who do you think has been a pleasant surprise so far, or not?
So I think the first thing that stood out to me is how bad the Giants really are. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a step back for sure because I knew, they definitely had like new coach syndrome last year where, they were motivated going from Judge to Dabble, and it was like a whole thing, which definitely raised their level of play up. But like, they're really bad. They're such a hard football team to watch, man. And like, it wasn't like that last year. Like, they were fun to watch last year because they like played really hard but like, they're my least favorite team to watch now. I refuse. Bill Simmons said this a few weeks ago, and I was already on board before he said it. It was like, bro, I'm done watching Giants games. If it's not against the Cowboys, if it's a primetime Giants game, I'm not watching it. Because just like, I don't need to waste 3 hours of my time watching Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor, whoever the fuck it is, go 3-0 every goddamn possession. Like, I don't need to see it. And that's what they do. And they're abysmal.
I mean, it seems like they're all in on the same process. Well, obviously we're recording this on a Friday night.
They just signed Daniel Jones to that contract too. Like, it's bad.
But for them to trade Leonard Williams to Seattle, which I'm like, wow, that was a big time deal. I know Giants fans were happy that they unloaded off that contract for Leonard Williams, but I'm like, he has some play. I think he's going to do really well in Seattle. So, I mean, they clearly are in tank mode. I wonder what they do with Saquon in the offseason. Maybe he ends up going elsewhere. He can carry a franchise, I think, 2 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think that he's gone.
I think is it 2 year? I think it's 3 years in a row you can't do. I
Well,
think you can do 2 years in a row. Yeah.
well, sorry, maybe if I'm them, I'm
Which
not.
should change.
Yeah, I'm not
This should
franchise
change, at
them.
least for running back. For running backs, they should change that immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, because I mean, I think we're probably the two one. Well, I think we're the only two that watch college football consistently.
Yeah.
There's a kid in North Carolina, and once again, for those that didn't watch the Patriots show, yes, I am all along the Drake May bandwagon, and rightfully so. The dude has been special early on this year. But his running back that's in the backfield with him, Amarian Hampton, and not the Amarian that was in B2K.
Mario's he's so good.
Amarian Hampton
He's so good.
really, yeah, so good. So I'm like, to me, if he's there in the third round, once again, I would like him here in New England, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna get a Saquon replacement, maybe he's someone that fits the mold.
Yeah. Agreed. They have to, or a wide receiver. They have to pick a quarterback, a wide receiver, though, for sure. But the other surprise to me, I was gonna say the Cowboys, but I guess it's not really much of a surprise. I'm just more. I guess we'll get to the Cowboys. Yeah, the Giants are the one that stood out to me, and the Bears. So I guess to two bad teams, the Bears being really bad really surprised me. Now the Badgets in it is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about them on the power rankings too, but what about the Chargers, man? Everyone, every year this is like the darling team, but here we are again, man. And we're 8 weeks in. I know they just beat the Bears, the team we were just talking about, but like even that Bears win wasn't that convincing. I don't. What's your feelings on Herbert? DK loves him. What do you think? I'm not sold. I'm not sold anymore.
I think, not anymore. It was funny because you're the one that called it, but he would be decent. But I think he's decent. I don't think he's a scrub. I know. I think the numbers, will suggest. I think it's funny because someone shared that him and Daniel Jones have similar numbers, when it comes to crunch time play. So, I think that's what's going on. But, I say this all the time. I say this about the Chargers. It's been like this since you and I were teenagers, maybe even before then. They always, for the most part, have great rosters. Once again, on the show, we interviewed Sean Marion. Go back and watch that. We did that earlier this year. You had him. You had Quentin Jammer, Drain Flores, Daniel Thomason, Antonio Gates, Phillip Rivers.
Right.
Yeah.
Those teams are so good, man.
Cardell. And then, obviously, Young Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Derwin James, like you name it, like they've had numerous talent, but I've always said they come in usually being the preseason favorites or close to being the preseason favorites because on paper they should be, but then by this time of the year, it's right on schedule. A key player or players get hurt, and then it derails everything. So
everything.
That's just what it is. So I don't know. Like, to me, I don't know if it's a Charger curse. Excuse me. I don't know what it is, but it's unfortunate that their best players usually, whether it's Eckler, whether it's Mike Williams, whether it's Keenan Allen, whether it's Rashawn Slater, whoever. Like, it's always somebody on their key core that gets some type of significant injury, unfortunately, and then it changes the trajectory of their season.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I love all those Charger name drops, by the way. Those Charger teams back in the day were some of my favorite football teams ever, bro. Like even if you go further back too, they've always had the dudes, man. Like even further back, remember they had like Donnie Edwards.
Donnie Edwards. Wow.
Yeah, like who else was you said Quentin Jammer, right? Yeah, you said Quentin Jammer.
Guys like Lorenzo Neal, a young Drew Brees, right?
There we go. Yep, exactly. And or Keenan McCardell was an original Charger, and like the brother, they've always been that team. It's funny. It really is weird. Like
for those that just listen to this, and I can't believe we didn't say his name, but we didn't mention Junior Seau. Sorry for those that be like, how do you not mention Seau? Yes, Hey, say y'all.
I thought you said that. I didn't want to do what I always do and repeat it again, you know?
No, I didn't say y'all. No, I was like, wow, I can't believe that I went on one name, probably their greatest player in franchise history. So it's like, well, we always had the talent, but they just never stayed healthy, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. The other team I want to talk about, well, actually, I just want to have a quick discussion here.
Yep.
Because, every week we talk about, so me and DK like to cross teams off. I don't know if we should officially cross anyone off, without me. I feel like we'll get offended. But I think we should talk about who the worst teams in the league are, man, because I don't know anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you look at this
talked about
past week.
Philly.
Right. Well, but then you think about the Panthers, right? Panthers coming into this week unbeaten. They beat the Texans, who are an upside team. Broncos also dumpster fire coming into this week. They beat the Chiefs, which is the most surprising thing maybe the most surprising football game I've ever seen in my life. But Mahomes had the flu, but it just, it's wild to me, man, that the same week, two teams that are considered literally to be probably the two worst teams. Like, it was between the Broncos and the Panthers when you talk to people. Those were the two. And the Pats slipped in there sometimes, and the Giants, but like, those two teams were ones that stuck out. And then this week to come out and just get these big wins, man. I just don't know. I think it's the Panthers, right? I think it's the Panthers, but like,
They're nobody.
I don't know anymore, man. It just feels like any of these bad teams. I don't know if it means that there's just like so much disparity between, or so much parity between the top and the bottom. But I feel like a bad team could beat a top team every single week. Easily. It could happen,
Right. No, sure. But when we say cross off, though, we're talking about cross off from like really making it right. We're not saying they can't win on a given Sunday.
From playoffs.
Of course. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cross offs is in playoffs. Yeah.
So okay. So we already said it. So New England, cross off. Denver, cross off. Now, what I will say was wild, right? Think about Denver had a game, and I've been waiting to say this because it's crazy. Denver had a game where they scored, they allowed 70 points, and they still have a better record than the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
This is like,
I'm kind of sad.
I want Sean to
kind of sad.
I want Sean to think about how ridiculous that sounds. To be a team that gave up 70 points. Man. Truth be told, they're a blown call away from being 4-5 or 4-4. That Washington call? No, I'm talking about Denver. They're a blown call away from being 4-4.
Denver, okay. Yeah.
That Washington game, they got holes in that game. That was a PI. They didn't call it, and they gave Washington that
fact.
So we all know that. So maybe they're not as awful as they have looked, obviously. I mean, once again, you give up 70, you give up 70. There's no
the defenses looked, they just only give up 9 to Kansas City. The defenses definitely look better.
When you have PS2, we're not talking a video game console, but when you have that type of corner, you should be somewhat elite on defense. So yeah, like you said, it's a whole, that's the first time in 2 years that he hasn't had a touchdown in a game, meaning Patrick Mahomes, that he didn't throw a touchdown in 2 years. And I wanted to say this to Mr. Craig, right? So Craig, you have not the person that's now jumped on your bandwagon. It's not me, but it's my homeboy Clyde. He thinks that Mahomes is also about to get on that cliff, that Max Kellerman cliff.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
I think it's crazy. I think we're gonna have more games like this where he doesn't look the same, but to the point that he's gonna be paced off the wall or just awful completely is a joke. Like let's be.
You can't do this to him, man. You can't, because you look back at all the great quarterbacks. I'm not saying you. I'm saying the pub. You look back at all the great quarterbacks. They all every single one of them has a season where the weapons are shit.
Yeah.
So they play like shit sometimes. Brady had it in what was it? Oh, this season before this perfect season where his number one target was fucking Rashay Caldwell. You know what I mean? Like who isn't bad, but Rashay Caldwell would be probably by far a one on this Kansas City squad right now. Okay. So before you start throwing hate at Mahomes, just realize that if Mahomes is not A+, that team struggles. If Mahomes doesn't do crazy things, that team's not going to do it because they don't have the talent anymore, man. This isn't the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill and fucking, all these other fast guys. I can't think of any other number 2 that was ever on the Chiefs, but this isn't that same team. You know what I mean? It's a completely different squad. It's so different.
But that's what people have been waiting for to see, right? Remember that was a thing early on between Brady and Manning, right? People say, well, damn, like if you gave Brady what Peyton Manning had, it'd be a different story. Once again, from Gibbons to Patton to Daniel Graham to Ben Watson, to Deion Branch, and obviously, you had Harrison Sr., Reggie Wayne, Marcus Pollard. Then it went and turned into Dallas Clark, Ezra and James. I forget who the other running back was behind him, but Ezra and James, and I forget who 31 was.
Dominic Rhodes. It wasn't him though.
Look, Dominic Rhodes. So
I don't know.
You don't say. Oh, then it's
Syracuse, bro. No, who's the Syracuse guy? Mungrave. Remember James Mungrave?
No, yeah. When that was
name,
that was like even Stokely as well. Brendan Stokely. It's just like so. They had.
Who was the guy after Edge, bro? That's gonna bother me. Who was it?
What was it? Was it Rose? It wasn't Rose after him for a while.
No, Rhodes was the backup. Fucking Adai, bro.
Oh,
Joseph Adai.
Joseph Adai. Sorry, yeah.
Donald Brown, Rhodes and Brown was the backup.
Was the bar right? There you go. Right.
Okay.
So it's just like that. That to me, we just thought about what it was. So yeah, but now, once again, it was like they were unfair because you had Hill, Kelsey, even it was. I think Miko Harmon hasn't been good in New York, but Miko Harmon was decent at times for.
He's back. He's back in Kansas City.
Oh, he's back. Okay, I didn't realize he came back, but
yeah, he got traded. He got traded like last week.
Gotcha.
I think.
Yeah. So I think that may help them give a boost eventually, but that's what people were clamoring for. It was like, yo, can you be that guy when some things are removed? And once again, I hate that argument. I just feel like, yo, like if you can ball, you can ball. But yeah, it's like he didn't come into an awful situation from day one. He sat behind Alex Smith, got a chance to learn, and then he came in week 15, and then the rest was history. So that matters. The context of how he got into the league and how he started his career matters. He had that. Peyton Manning didn't have that because they would. Well, I mean, Brady wasn't thrusting into it, but whatever he was, I got hurt. But same thing. So that context matters. But I don't know. We'll see. But like Sky Moore is not that guy. Valdez Scantling is only good apparently with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's had some moments, but
it's just like Well, it's just like they're putting together almost like it reminds me of a Patriots wide receiver core, bro, where there's no one. Is there really even a two? You know what I mean? They just have a bunch of threes and gadget guys, and like they don't have an actual wide receiver.
Pacheco's lost.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Pacheco's
real. Listen, I really like Pacheco, 100%, 100%. But you need a wide receiver. You know?
No, but think about it.
They have like 6 slot wide receivers, or not even slot. They have like 6 guys that they run like jet sweeps and bubble screens.
You know why? Yeah. No, you know why?
What?
They've been trying to replace this guy ever since.
100%. 100%. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like,
so the fact
it's very glaringly obvious what's missing.
Yeah, they thought, once again, we both listen to Jay-Z. Remember that line? They keep saying they made Hove. Okay. I said, so okay, make another Hove. So okay, they saying they made Tyreek Hill. Okay, so make another Tyreek Hill, and you can't. You
Mm-mm.
you can't.
Mm-mm.
So in the words of
Listen,
Jay-Z,
Tyreek Hill.
you lost.
Yeah,
No, crazy.
yeah. Tyreek Hill might be the most exciting wide receiver I've ever watched in my life. And the fact that they thought that it was okay to let him go is insane. If I was Mahomes, I'd be like, you guys are fucking idiots. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. Now we're talking about the team. All right.
Right.
Let's just jump in.
Yeah.
So number 10, so yeah, let's take away the season, all that kind of stuff. So number 10, we got the Jags. This past week, Jags, they looked a little shaky. I think I actually dropped them down a spot from the week before, if I remember correctly. The Steelers were banged up in that game. Pickett went down. It was Trubisky. I think a couple other guys ended up going out too. I think Deontay was banged up. And the Jags still kind of struggled. It was a little rough for a little bit. They definitely pulled away. What's your opinion on the Jags? What do you think? I have them at 10 just because it's tough there's a lot of bad teams in the NFL right now, and it's tough to kind of put them any higher. But what do you think?
Well, I mean, when you that was a game they should have won Sunday, right? When that doesn't happen, you got to find a way, or you got to start searching again. And I think they've had some good games where you're like, oh, okay, like we see why, Lawrence's guy and Ridley and Etienne and and the rest of that crew.
Etienne is real.
He's really good. So
Yeah.
I just think, to me, they're not used to being hunted. So now there's some teams that giving their best shot as opposed to just saying like, oh, it's little Jacksonville. That's not the case anymore. Teams are coming in and thinking, okay, we're trying to see if we measure well against this team here because they made the playoffs last year. They made it into the divisional round last year. So yeah, I think that they're decent. But like I said, but if you're going to be taken seriously, you can't lose games like you did Sunday to a team that was banged up and talent-wise has less.
Yeah, I mean they did end up beating them, but yeah, you can't exactly you can't even make it close. You know what I mean?
Well,
The other team, that there was some gripe in the discard chat when I dropped this that wasn't in here, which they thought they should replace the Jags. Is the Seahawks. They beat the Browns this past week, 24-20. The Browns were in the top 10 before. The Browns beat the 49ers the week before. Not sure how impressive that is now. We'll get there. I still think it's impressive. I don't know what's going on with them. But what do you think? Do you think the Seahawks should be over the Jags just because of the nature of those two wins? How, they beat the Browns. And Jags struggle with the Steelers.
Yo, listen, I'm not the biggest Pete Carroll guy. Like I think I've made that clear on the show. But the job he's done resurging Geno Smith's career is unreal. Unreal. You want to talk about systems? We just saw a guy in LA say, I'm not a system, I am the system. Well, Pete Carroll is the system. Pete Carroll is a system, and
he is.
Yeah, he's gotten them boys playing. And once again, you add on Leonard Williams, you got DK Metcalf, you got the veteran Tyler Lockett, you got my guy Kenny Walker out of Michigan State. My other guy Noah Fant at tight end they got in the Russell Wilson trade. They find a way to be consistent. Once again, Pete Carroll messed up their run that they would have had in the mid 2010s because they had found a way to put it all together. But yeah, it seems like he's having a second resurgence at 70, 71. And Geno Smith is balling, and who would have thought? I want to say they're the lead in the NFC West, if I'm not mistaken. So that's unreal to me that they're leading.
They are, man.
Wow. So think about surprises. That's not a surprise. Detroit's one, but Seattle's another one. It's unbelievable.
Well, and it's crazy how fast that flipped, man. The Niners a couple weeks ago were in a whole tier by themselves. Remember the power rankings I put out where I put like a solid 5 inches of space between them and the rest of the league, and all 2 weeks later, they're not even fucking in first place.
But once again, for those that listen to this, like it's power rankings at the time, so it's not what they're going to be in.
Yeah.
It's at the time. So at the time, San Francisco was head and shoulders above the rest of the crew. Them in Miami. That's a fact.
It just shows you how fucking fickle and how we really just don't, we can sit here all fucking day and be like, we know this and we know that. And we don't know shit. Anyways, thanks for listening. Number 9, listen, Mel Kiper doesn't know shit either, okay? And he's been the draft expert for like 20 years, but who did he say was going to be guard? I forget who it was. But yeah, anyways, 9, probably the most disappointing team in the NFL so far, the Buffalo Bills. They, this past week,
they're 9-8. I see it. Buffalo's
the Bills are 9.
Oh, so yeah, Seattle at 10.
No, the Lions are 8.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, so the Jags are at 10. I was saying, should the Seahawks be in over the Jags at 10? Well, because those were the last two teams.
I interpreted that wrong. But so yes, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah,
Right?
Seattle's been in Jacksonville, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Seattle's been in Jacksonville.
Just by the nature of that win, right? Just how they looked. Right now, I think I agree.
It may be different in a few weeks, but right now, yeah, Seattle's been in Jacksonville, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know why I was tripping it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's okay. Then so the Bills 9. Bills beat the Bucks. I guess it was convincing. They kind of were in control most of the way of this game. I think it was 24-10, and then the Bucks scored a touchdown like super late. So it wasn't like a close game. They pretty much had control of it the whole. But at the same time, this Bills team just seems weird, man. I don't know what's going on with them. I think them losing Milano was huge for that defense. They lost, I think Tre'Davious is out too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so both those things are just so big for this team. I'm just disappointed in the Bills, man. It's possible after this week that if the Bills go up and lose, who do they play this week? Let's see if this is even a possibility before I even say it.
Lost in New England, it's possible.
They'll play the Bengals, yeah. So if it's true, if the Bills lose to the Bengals and the Jets, is this right? Am I talking out of my ass here? Yeah, and the Jets beat the Chargers, the Jets will move ahead of the Buffalo Bills in the NFC East standings.
AFC.
Isn't that wild? AFC, sorry, yeah, AFC East. Isn't that wild, bro? It's you think about how this is unfolded, right? Where like the Jets beat the Bills week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, oh, that's that fluke game. That's that weird game that, like, that's what I was saying, that doesn't make any sense. And when we look back at week 1, we're like, how the fuck did the 2-14 Jets beat the 13-3 or whatever it is now, 17 weeks? But I don't know. I don't know if it was that fluky as we think, because after this week, the Jets could officially be ahead of the Buffalo Bills in the standings. And that's crazy for where the expectations were for the Bills at the beginning of the season.
Well, I mean, to be fair, people had Jets in the Super Bowl.
Well, that was with Rodgers, though, not with fucking Zach Wilson.
I know, I'm saying, but when we talk about the roster itself, they had this team going to the playoffs and having a deep run. So
it's a great roster. It's a really good roster, man. It is.
Right. So if they win Sunday,
it's just
So if they win Sunday, which is very very feasible that they win Sunday, Rob Saleh should be the faraway lead for Coach of the Year. Like it's not close.
100%.
Not
100%.
Like
not even close.
He doubled
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, he doubled down on, once again, people was like, why is he so demanding?
Wilson, yeah.
why is he so demonstrative?
Trade, yeah.
Oh, do this, you'll have Zach Wilson. And he came on the podium and said, hey, Wilson is the quarterback of the New York Football Jets. And people laughed. I clowned a little bit. Some of the people I know clowned a little bit. And once again, he knew that he had to speak. That's where I talk about. We talk about it on our basketball shows, but that was an example in football sense that he coached Zach Wilson there from the head up. Once again, the arm talent's there. He can run. He can do everything else a great quarterback can do. Mental was where Zach Wilson has missed the mark a few times, so to speak. So for him to coach from the neck up and say, hey, although everyone on the outside is thinking that you're not the guy that can help us, our self, the coaching staff, and the other 52 men in this room are believing in you to take us not only just to the playoffs, but for a deep run. So even if they don't believe it, the fact that it's being said out there publicly and internally within their locker room, I think it's doing wonders. And I think they beat LA come Sunday. And next,
I do too. I think they're going to beat the Chargers. I agree.
Yep. So I'm here for it. So keep it up.
It really is wild though that Saleh is doing this good of it, because people were ready for him to be canned at the end of last year. You know what I mean? Like he's doing a great job with this team. Yep. I completely agree.
No, for sure.
So next, I should have had this. So 8, we already talked about them. The Detroit Lions. This week they got. Let's go back to the scores. So the Lions played the Raiders. They beat the Raiders this week. They didn't move. I think they stayed right where they were. Maybe I think the Bengals jumped them because they beat the 49ers. Right. But I just go back to, do we know they can't join the elite yet? We know they're good, right? We know they're a very talented team, well coached. They can beat any team any week. But when you put them up against the Ravens, they got their asses fucking kicked. That game was a fucking demolition of the Detroit Lions by halftime, bro. That game was over before it started. So you can't. I can't put them with the elite yet, because they just, I know the 49ers game with the Cowboys is like that too.
How many teams got looking at Jackson?
That's I mean, a lot of them could have. A lot of them, to be fair, a lot of them could have had him and decided that they didn't want him. Atlanta, fucking Desmond Ritter, you fucking idiots. You fucking idiots. Even now, you picked Desmond Ritter over.
They've won more than I thought they would win too. The same. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's garbage, bro. He is garbage. I've never seen a quarterback turn the ball over more than Desmond Ritter does. Every week, you get 3 turnovers every fucking week.
Have you watched Patriots football, sir?
Okay, that's fair. That's a very fair comment, Rayshawn. That is very fair.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm once again.
Okay, so he's looked better. He's looked better past 2 weeks, but
sure. It's just like it's untimely turnovers. It's unfortunate. So
the pick sixes, man, are just fucking backbreakers. He's turned into who he reminds me of lately with all those fucking pick sixes, but with none of the upside. No, Matt Schaub. That where it was like,
if he became Matt Schaub, I'd be okay. So you know why? Matt Schaub was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. If he became Matt Schaub,
I would take that. But
but
that's not the case.
But it's just fun because now this is what used to happen with Shaw, was like right when Red Zone first came out. Anytime it would flash to a Texans offensive possession, you wouldn't know. You'd be like, is this an offensive play or is this a pick six? And it's like a 50-50 shot of what's going. Is this an explosive Patriots play or is this a pick six? And 50-50, it's a fucking pick six of Mac Jones. But yeah, I agree. I think those are the 2 worst quarterbacks I've seen play so far this year. I agree with that. Ritter and Mac Jones. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks right now.
Yes, I agree.
You want to talk about that real quick? I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Yeah, we
We talked about this 2 weeks
Mhm.
ago. We were ahead of the game on this, but it's really bad right now, man. Have you ever seen the quarterback position this scarce, this bad?
Well,
This
some
it's
of
bad.
his injuries are involved.
Even the starters
Um,
though are just not. It's not the
yeah,
same,
I
man.
mean, I think the emphasis is not being put the QB, um, like it once was. I also think that a few of these drafts haven't been QB, hasn't been a deep QB draft. So, outside of the first one or two guys, you're not finding guys that are franchise level, quarterbacks. Um, Jordan Love is a perfect example, right? He sits behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 seasons. He comes in, has a decent, start to his career in the first 2 to 3 games, but once teams got tape on him, he reverted back to, to not being much on the field. So you got him, you got Ritter, you got Mac
Mhm.
Jones, you got Tannehill, who's not being listen, Will Levis, ladies and gentlemen, is your future starter of the Tennessee Titans.
Fuck
I
yeah, he
know
is. Fuck
I
yeah,
know
he
I know they
is.
lost. I know they lost on Thursday night. But listen, um, the arm talent's there. Um, and once again, Tannehill once again should thank his agent for all the money that he's got in his career. But it's time. It's time for him to. It's time for him to go. But yeah, but no, you're right. You gotta have an elite quarterback, and once again, only three. I would say maybe 5, 6 have that. Everyone else is kind of in the middle of the pack or below.
It and there's no good quarterbacks anymore. That was the thing back in the day is like there was the elite, there was the Brady, there was Manning, there was, those guys. But then in the middle, there was, I know I say his name all the time, but there was the Tony Romos, there was the Donovan McNabbs, there was like all these dudes who were like legitimate quarterbacks who could put up 300 to 400 yards every single week.
Yeah, no,
But now the middle of the pack dudes are dudes that are struggling to get 220 up, that are struggling to convert 3rd and 7s. You know what I mean? It's just a different
no,
brand of football now
yeah, no.
because the quarterback play is so
It's
much
just like in baseball, right? And this where the analytics have taken over. They're perfectly cool with saying a guy did it well because he went 19 to 29 for a 182, a touchdown and no picks, right? They're like, oh, he turned the ball over. It's a great game. Where if in our time coming up, if we saw someone win 19 to 29 for 182, this guy's trash. But this guy's not that good. Now, if you go 25 or 35 for 320, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, you're like, oh, okay, like that was a really good showing. So, and let's say it's baseball. Like, think about our guy Kyle from Waltham, right? He hits 197 this year, but had 47 home runs, 100 batted in. Like it's become home run, or bust. And I feel like now it's become touchdown or bust in, the NFL. And it's like, people aren't doing checkdowns the way they used to do checkdowns. They're not making the reads and how they used to make reads. So there's a lot of nuances as to why there's a lot of bad quarterback play in the current day NFL. And I don't know how to get back to it because you don't practice the way you don't practice what you used to practice. So there's a lot of variables that go into why the QB play is not what it once was, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. It it's just there's just not that class anymore, man. It makes football so much it's not as fun
Mhm.
anymore. It's still fun, don't get me wrong, but like there's just so many more bad games where you're just like, oh,
Yep. Yep. No.
fucking let's look at this week, right? So this week, right, we have who's starting. There's 8 backup quarterbacks starting this week. I saw 8
Mhm.
backup quarterbacks. Oh, we get the
Well,
list.
9 if you
Backup
include Mac Jones.
um, I like it.
I mean, it's
I
true.
think Brian. Oh, that was Brian Hard plays. It is. It is. Anyways, let's keep going. So next we got the This shows you how much this top of the tier is kind of separating themselves, in my opinion, from the rest of the league. Because at 7, we have a team that just beat the previously invincible 49ers. I mean, previously since 3 weeks ago. They handled them pretty good too. The Bengals won that game. The 49ers weren't ever really in it. Purdy doesn't look the same. I don't know if maybe teams are figuring him out or if he has some like lingering concussion things going. I don't know. But he definitely doesn't look the same. Defense doesn't look the same. I don't know what's going on with them. We'll see if maybe Chase Young can, he should. We'll help that out. But
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, so Bengals 49ers, yeah, I even though the Bengals beat the 49ers, they're still below the 49ers. Is that okay? Do you think I was a little bit, so everyone out there, the 49ers is 6. Let's couple these together because they just split each other. Am I wrong for putting the Bengals below them?
Oh,
Even though they just beat them?
well, everyone was panicking. Decided it was 1-3, right? They were panicking. And now they've won 3 in a row. I'm like,
even the supporters, this
yeah,
guy right here,
I mean,
was
they
panicking.
they were our AFC pick to go to the Super Bowl, right? So, we got to stay committed to them the rest of the year. They'll figure it out. And once again, my guy, my dog, Jamar Chase, as he said, I'm always fucking open. Period. Always open. So there's no one that can guard him in that league. And as long as they continue to get healthy, which that's what it looks like is happening, that Burrow's getting healthier, the offensive line is getting healthier. They're going to be right there. Once again, they're the only team in the AFC to me that really, can dethrone Kansas City. Why? Because they've done it already. So it's just like, to me,
That's fair.
they're catching fire at the right time, and yeah, I think I'd put them above. I have no problem with flip flopping them at that number. Because they shouldn't be any higher, but you can rest assured a top 3 spot's coming for them though, because they're about to go on a run. Say that right now. I don't see them losing for at least next few weeks.
Yeah, I agree. The Bengals are, yeah. They have any schedule coming up? Let's see. This is weird.
It don't even matter. That's what I'm saying.
They're playing the Bills.
Huh? Okay.
They're playing the Bills Sunday night, which is weird. I don't know why they did that.
It'll be Buffalo. It'll be Buffalo. They're better than Buffalo.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah,
be
they're better than
Buffalo,
Buffalo.
especially the way Buffalo's playing. Yeah.
Once again, which 17 are you getting? Once again, I'm a Josh Allen supporter, biggest one on the show by far. What 17 are we getting? Are we getting the guy that his name is claim to fame? Are we getting that guy that threw 5 touchdowns in like 20 seconds a couple years ago, or are we getting a guy that can throw 4 picks in 30 seconds? So what are we getting? So that question remains to be answered. But it's Mahomes, Burrow, then Allen. Like that. That's
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. Okay. So yeah, I think we can flip them. It's so weird putting the 49ers that far down, but I mean the Bengals just beat them.
yeah,
So it is what it is
right now.
Right now, exactly. You're right. Okay. Next we have, drum roll please, the number 5 Dallas Cowboys. Obviously we're going to learn a lot more about this team this week.
Mhm.
They can beat up on the bad teams. They can, let's rephrase that. They can demolish the bad teams. And they do when they play. They fucking destroy these bad teams where the game's over. Bro, this game was over in 4 minutes. You know what I mean? Where you're just watching, you're like, oh shit, we're gonna fucking kill them today. Defense scoring touchdowns, special teams scoring touchdown. I think we scored 21 points in a matter of like 3 minutes and 22 seconds or something like that. This game was off my main TV by halftime. Yeah, I don't know. Eagles week, bro. It's Eagles week. So that's really what I'm focused on. It's a good win, but it's Eagles week, man. This is the week. This is what we see. If that 49ers game was just the Niners having our number, or if the Cowboys really struggle against these top-notch teams. And you know who it comes down to? Once again, Dak Prescott.
Oh,
If
well,
Dak doesn't have a big game, we don't have a
oh,
chance.
I disagree. I think this is the Tony Pollard game. I think running down their throats, keep the ball away from Philadelphia, and play solid defense. I think if you do that, you'll win. I think you'll win 27-20. I firmly believe that. So running down their throats. I'm about to date myself when I said this. I was about to ask you. I said, is it at the vet? It hasn't been the vet in a million years. I don't know why. Not the vet, but is that the vet or is it that? Is it at Lincoln Financial? Excuse me, or is it at AT&T Stadium?
This week,
Oh man,
I think it's in Philly.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
Philly. It's in Philly.
yeah. So that's an if you know moment. Like for those that know it at the vet, that terrible turf that was out there, from years ago. But yeah,
I was just thinking about
it was,
that.
it was awful.
Bro.
With that. I do hope they.
I was literally.
I do hope they wear
that.
those Kelly Green uniforms though. I think those shits are so clean. I think they don't. I love them. I love them uniforms. But yeah. But I think Dallas wins Sunday. I do. But like I said, you got to give the ball to Tony. I think 30 times. Let him run it 30 times. 30 for 150. Well, let him go crazy.
I hope, man. We haven't seen a Pollard game yet this year.
So,
we haven't seen one yet. So it makes me a little nervous. So maybe this is it. Maybe you're right.
He's due.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. I'm nervous about this game. Like I said, I think it's Dak and CD. If Dak and CD don't go off, I don't see them going crazy, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yep.
Pause.
Yeah. So.
So yeah. Anyways, so who we got number 4? Sorry, our producer was just messaging us, guys. What is he? Is he okay with us doing it on here?
Yeah, it'll be fine. I've done it before.
All right,
that mentions
right.
Nelson.
So yeah, number 4. Number 4, we got the Chiefs. Worst loss of the Mahomes era, right? This past week.
Oh,
they went from 1 to 4.
Worst loss?
Or 2 to 4, I guess. Most disappointing loss? Yeah, I think it's up there, man. I think it's up there. That was bad. They haven't scored. That was the only time that the Chiefs, it was the least amount of points the Chiefs have scored, I think, since Mahomes became starting quarterback.
Yeah, they scored 9 in the Super Bowl, too.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, they did score 9 in the Super
That's
Bowl,
the
right?
worst. That's the worst game. So that's the worst game. I was like, that was crazy. Yeah.
So you think? Do you think that this is more the Chiefs having a bad week, or is this time to panic? Something's wrong. Something's really wrong because we know something's weird, but we're okay. They'll be okay. The Chiefs.
No,
they're going to be all right. What do you think?
No, their defense is much better than it's been in years past. So I think because their defense gives them a chance to win most games, that they will be in it most weeks. So now, before I felt like they was just dependent on Mahomes making a play because he was just so magical with everything he was doing. But now that Trent McDuffie's gotten better, you got Chris Jones back on the field. They have guys there that can make plays on the defensive end. So as long as they're still technically sound on defense, just have a series where Mahomes is Mahomes. they'll figure it out. So yeah, it's not time to panic over there. It's one game at a time, one possession at a time. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think it's time to panic. I do think they need to a trade deadline just passed. So I guess they're not going to do much. Then you got to figure out that wide receiver room, man, because Kadarius Toney ain't going to do the trick for you to win a Super Bowl. I can guarantee you that. Listen, Travis Kelce's awesome. Second best tight end, maybe best tight end. It's that's the debate. You need someone else. You need him. You know what I mean? Gronk couldn't do it all in New England. You needed a wide receiver. You needed a Randy Moss, a Julian Edelman. You needed these dudes, man. You got to make life easy on your elite quarterbacks. And it's fucking blasphemy to me that these teams continuously, year in and year out, do this to these elite quarterbacks, man. It's like, you have a chance here. You have an opportunity to literally recreate the Patriots dynasty. Like, the more I think about it, the more like it's staring them in the face, man. They're in the worst division of football. It's going to continuously be maybe the worst division of football for a while. You know what I mean? Like, you take the Chargers, very disappointing, terrible coaching. We don't know what's up with them. Raiders just fired their coach. Denver Broncos already have been mentioned as the worst football team.
Yeah.
They have a chance to dominate that division for the next 15 years. And they probably will do it without wide receivers. But, like, bro, give this dude some help. What are you doing, Kansas City? It's fucking crazy. It's crazy to me that he's throwing the ball to Nicole Hardman 7 times a game. Like, he should be throwing the fucking Justin Jefferson 7 times a game. Like, you know what I mean? These dudes, he's just not.
Oh, you know, the NFL would not want that.
That'd be so fun, though. You know it would be.
They would legit. They would not lose a game. They would not lose a game ever.
Yeah. It'd be really tough to beat them if they had JJ. 100%. That'd be fucking crazy. I kind of want that to happen. So let's see here. So 3, what happened to my parent? What you say? Might have to do some chopping of this. 3, we got the Dolphins. I know it's surprising to everyone. It shouldn't be because who number 2 is, and I've been bought in on them all year. But listen, I like the Dolphins. I don't think it's. I know divisional games are always close. I get it. I know, you can't read too much into it, but I don't think it's very encouraging for one of the top 2 teams in the NFL to have to struggle and get a bad, what happened at the end of that past game? Who fucked up? Someone fucked up. A bad Patriots play to clinch it. You know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't have to happen if you're one of the best teams in the league. I'm sorry. I know it's a divisional game. I know it's Belichick. He's got your number. If you're one of the best teams, you should beat that team pretty handily. And that's why I don't believe in the Bills anymore. Because, like, listen, man, we've seen bad quarterbacks play. We know a good quarterback and a bad quarterback. And when you're an elite team, it doesn't look good when you lose to bad quarterbacks. So, in my opinion, it just really doesn't.
Yep.
So we'll see. I don't know. I just don't. I don't believe that they can be one of these top teams. Now, number 2. Now I'm going to pitch this to you. I'll let you talk about both. The Ravens. I'm in on the Ravens, man. I really am. And I said this beginning of the year. I took like a 1-week hiatus on my Ravens train. I think this is the best football team Lamar's had, and I don't think it's close. The weapons. Just everything that's going on there. This is the most consistent offensive football team that Lamar's had. The offensive play calling's better. They're actually, using his legs to set up the pass, which is not what they were doing before. They would just be like legs and then just do a drop back pass. And it's, you know what I mean? There's a lot of variation now. I really like this Ravens team, man. I really do. And Roquan Smith is a fucking beast. That dude is so good. I've never seen. He reminds me. I want to say Ray Lewis because obviously he's not Ray Lewis, but like he seems to be around the ball just as much as him. And he's wearing the same goddamn jersey, so that's what I'm gonna go with. He looks a lot like Ray Lewis to me when he's out there. He's obviously not, but like, you know what I
he's
mean? It's
more
just
he's
he's
like
everywhere.
Terrell Suggs.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
So that's fine. But yeah, no, they've been special so far this year. I agree. Once again, they drafted a guy I wanted, and Zay Flowers out of BC. I think he's a hell of a talent. And yeah, I said it's about time they put some weapons around him that can really produce. And you know, it's essentially his talent as well. So yeah, that's what they're doing. And you know, they've had bad luck at the running back position, for the guys staying healthy. But hopefully, you know, they continue to stay healthy and continue to go to work. I would love to see Lamar in a Super Bowl setting. I'd like to see him against Mahomes at some point in the playoffs again. I think that'd be really fun as well. I think that he was touted as the next guy to throw Mahomes. But then, you know, they kind of had that separation, you know, once Mahomes started to end. So yeah, Lamar Jackson has a chance to get himself back into that conversation of the, you know, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen. I think he could leapfrog a couple of those guys
I agree.
if he has a good postseason run. But that needs to happen, and we haven't seen it yet. So
Yeah, I agree. And I think he would okay. I'm gonna elaborate on exactly what you just said. If he does make that Super Bowl run, the only person that you can put ahead of him is Patrick Mahomes. And even then, if Lamar wins a Super Bowl, bro, right? Can you not, like, it's just, I know this is completely hearsay and like this, it's very possible he doesn't do this. And this is, you know, complete calamity. And it's like this conversation never fucking happens. If he wins a Super Bowl, right, and he's the reason they do it, is it a possible conversation that people can have? That's a good way to say it, so I don't get killed. That people can have that Lamar is better than Mahomes,
I think because people,
or more not better, game changing, more game changing. That's better.
I mean, rushing wise, Mahomes can't touch what Lamar Jackson does. I mean, that's not a not truth. And then we know that Lamar is not the thrower that Mahomes are, right? So they balance each other out in that regard. I do think once again, if he did get a Super Bowl, remember he'd be the next quarterback with already an MVP, with a Super Bowl, all within his first 6 years of his career. So yeah, you would start to look at him differently, and you know the notion that he can't pass, he can't do this, he can't do that. A lot of that conversation will go away because it's like what you say, they wanted with a running quarterback. This is not Tony Banks. This is not Anthony Wright. This is not Troy Smith. Not any of those guys that get to the door.
Nice.
You know, he's much better than those guys ever were, and you know, put some respect on his name. So, put it like this: I hope that it happens, so we can start having the conversation. I hope it happens.
I think it'd be a fucking fun conversation to have.
Yeah.
I agree. It would just, I want it to happen because we need more elite quarterbacks, and I need Lamar to be a part of that because he should be. You know what I mean? He drops dimes, bro. He's just as good as a thrower as any other quarterback in the league. As he is consistent, but he can make every throw that everyone else can, and then plus. Number one, fucking Eagles. This team, man. They're sloppy. They don't look the same. They look discombobulated at times, but they just keep fucking winning. They just keep winning. And this week they got my Cowboys here. I think we're gonna beat them. I do. I think we have the Eagles number. Dak's really good against the Eagles. I think he's 9-2 in his career against the Eagles. I think we're gonna beat them. I really do. I don't mean to turn this back into Cowboys talk, but like, I think we're gonna beat the fucking Eagles this week, and the Cowboys are gonna be a top 3 team next week because I just think I think our mindset's there.
No, I'm with you. Like I said, I think y'all win 27-20. It's just a matter of you're gonna have to run the ball in order to get that done. But yeah, I mean, listen, it ain't about style points. we treat this like college football. It was like, oh, well, did they win by 40? Who cares? At the end of the game, they just say, did your team win or did your team lose? That's the only stat that really matters, right? So they've done it better than anybody else. So they're 7-1 right now. They just find a way. And I'm hoping for a good Jalen Hurts game. I think that he is someone that's kind of taking a step back this year. And I'm hoping that he shows up Sunday. So there's no excuses either way. And it should be a good one. But yeah, no, they're a hell of a team. And they they just got Kenny Byard in the trade, which is fucking insane. I was like, wow.
They needed secondary, but yeah.
Like, damn,
yeah,
like,
he's
really
good, man. The Richard, bro, and the Cowboys sit there and twiddle their fucking thumbs like they do every year. But
I got a theory on that shit. Though. I felt like there's teams and like other organizations, like they're like, yo, we're not going to be the team that helped put Dallas on top. We're not going to be a team that trades in New England that helps New England get back on track. Like I think teams are conscious of that and they don't want to do that shit. It's just fucking weird to me, but I get it. They're like, we're not going to help these guys get back on track. So I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
What fun?
I'm nervous. I'm really nervous about this week. Yeah. We're going to change this show, its name, because I feel like at the end of every fucking episode, we say the same exact thing. Next week, we're going to know. We're going to know some things. We're going to know some things next week. I think I've literally said that for like, how many episodes have we done? 9 or almost 30 episodes now. I've said that every single week at the end. Next week, we're going to learn some more. And guess what? We never fucking do. We never know anything. We're still sitting here like, what the fuck is going on in this league? Anything else, right?
That's it. That's it. It's always the best week so far for the league. And I'm excited to see how Sunday unfolds.
Are you passionate about saving the planet for future generations? Do you want to learn how to do it? If yes, then you need to tune in to the Nature Backed podcast. It's a talk show covering the changing world around us, from renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, circular economy, to ESG and social innovation. Don't miss this opportunity to discover how you can join the movement and make a difference. Subscribe to the Nature Backed podcast today on your favorite platform and get ready to be amazed.
If you're a working professional wondering what's next for your career, you've come to the right place. Whether you're looking for a promotion, growth, or a potential career transition, look no further. With over 30 years working in a variety of industries, I share my insider knowledge with those ready to get ahead on Career Advancement with Craig Ansell. Tune in to get your strategies for success.
Electricast.